Welcome to the Pulse with Peter B. I'm your host, Peter Biancamano. Let's get you to the pulse on everything you need to know. And today's show is brought to you by the Pilsener House and Biergarten. Go visit our friends at 1422 Grand Street. Have that great pretzel, have a great beer, and just have a great time. And speaking of great times, she's always a great time when she's on the show, and that is our Places Insider, Ms. Megan Ixim of @Ms.Giggles on Instagram. Great to see you again.
So good to see you too. How are you?
I am fantastic. Another gorgeous, as they say, day.
Gorgeous.
Gorgeous.
Absolutely gorgeous.
See, she's Jersey City. I'm Hoboken, so this we make some sort of accent.
Yes,
we'll call it the Hoboken City accent.
Yeah, I try to pull it out, in conditions and times like this. Usually it slips in with the water. The
water and the chocolate.
the chocolate.
The chocolate.
Yes.
And the draw.
The draw.
All right. Enough fun we're having here,
right.
Today we're going to be discussing Ondo restaurant, which is located at 3 2nd Street in Jersey City. The last time she was on, we spoke about Antique here in Hoboken.
Yes.
But now we're heading to her hood, as they say. Or is it your neck of the woods? I'm not sure.
No, I'm Bergen Lafayette, but
Okay.
Jersey City, I get around.
So this is fine. Exactly. Same city, let's just say.
Yes.
So this is a Korean restaurant.
Yes.
What do you love about Ondo?
Oh my goodness. Well, let's start off with I'm somebody who probably spends about 10% of their income eating food.
Okay.
Proud of that. So I think I go out about
That's it? No, I'm kidding.
If you saw my bills, you'd be like, that's a lot.
Exactly.
What are you doing?
Exactly. I don't know what I'm doing.
Do you want to buy a house?
Maybe.
No, I want to eat amazing food.
Yeah, good for
So, Ondo is a new restaurant to Jersey City. It's actually owned by the same people who own Domo, which is in the Irby building, which is my favorite sushi spot in Jersey City. They have a great omakase. It's a really great spot. So I was super excited to check out Ondo. I kind of felt stagnant in the Jersey City food scene. I was kind of getting a little bored. And I went with about 4 friends, and it did not disappoint.
Love it.
Honestly, it is absolutely amazing. Whether or not you have great familiarity with a lot of Korean dishes, the server was amazing and willing to help walk us through the menu. I come from a Taiwanese Chinese culture.
That's
I
right.
do not know that much about Korean foods, and I think a lot of people go to think about like Korean barbecue, where you're just cooking the meats and it's all of the small dishes, whereas Ondo is a more traditional Korean style contemporary food. And I love the menu because it's organized as cold dishes, warm dishes, and hot dishes.
Oh. So
Yes.
You said cold, warm, and hot?
Yes,
Okay,
which is
I
a
need to
Korean
know.
style of food.
I'm assuming that a cold dish is probably like your
like
sushi.
seaweed chips and dip, or a lot of veg, fluke, things like that.
Okay.
Yeah, so the cold dishes are like, really nice gazpacho-esque, obviously not gazpacho Korean, but, whatever the
I was going to say
position would be
gazpacho
for
to
that.
Korean.
No.
That's right.
But that type of flavor. Yeah,
Gotcha.
so it's a really interesting menu. And for me, I love to eat family style, and it forces everyone to eat family style. I do not
Nice.
understand this concept of people ordering their own entrees and then being like, do not take a bite of my entree. That's just
ridiculous,
not
right?
how I was raised.
And by the way, correct me if I'm wrong, but family style, I'm not picky. I'm like, I'm not going to eat a little bit because this is for everybody.
Yeah.
I'm grabbing when I need to grab.
No, grab what you need to
Right.
grab. We'll order some more.
Hey,
Yes.
or some more, because
Another
half the
round.
time when it's a family style or a shareable dish, I feel like
Yes.
there's food left over, and I'm like, why?
Absolutely.
Why? There shouldn't be.
No, let's finish. I mean, not in my household. You have to fight. Everyone's running to
I
the first
love
dish as soon as it hits the table. You got to elbow some people
There
out.
you go. Listen, it's all about doing. So you spoke about the cold dishes.
Yes.
Talk to me about some of the warm dishes.
Oh my goodness. Well, they have a pancake that has fresh seafood in it.
What?
If you've ever had a kimchi pancake from a Korean style,
Yeah,
this is
sure.
a little bit more elevated. Absolutely delicious. The menu, I believe, is always changing as well. It's seasonal, which means it's fresh, it's creative, which I really appreciate
Wow.
in my restaurants. But I like the menu because it has the hits, like Korean fried chicken. And
Right.
then there's also some really funky traditional Korean dishes that you can try if you're feeling adventurous. So it has something for everyone, is what I like to say.
That's awesome.
Yes.
All right, now the hot. I'm guessing this is some sort of teriyakis or.
Not teriyaki. But
Okay,
it's
sorry, that's
Japanese.
more Japanese.
Yes.
My apologies. This is why Megan is there and I'm here.
Not teriyaki, but like a similar like brown sauces,
That's what
red
I'm trying to say.
sauces. You know, we had a beautiful like Berkshire pork chop, but made in a Korean style. I had one of the best like short rib galbi dishes I've ever had in my entire life, which was on like a butternut reduction sauce that I literally was like trying to put my hand in and take the last bits and fighting my friends for it because it was so good. The meats there were mouthwatering, and I think some of the best like steak, if you're interested in steak, but obviously not a traditional like cut of like steak, like a strip or something like that, but sliced, perfectly cooked with like a roasted garlic, a nice brown sauce. Some of the best I have ever had in Jersey City.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
When are we going?
Absolutely. Wait, do you want to go?
I want to go.
Oh my God, can we go?
Could we just like screw the last few minutes of the segment and go?
I will go right now, but they're not open. I think they're only open for dinner.
All right. Let's talk about something that, I'm sure many people are interested in. I know I'm interested. I know you're going to be interested in it too.
Okay, I'm
Liquor.
ready.
Do they have a liquor license?
Yes.
And so they have a full bar.
Yes, full bar.
Nice. What is your go-to?
Great cocktail. I mean, honestly, go with a bunch of friends and order a bottle because the
Nice.
bottles are about $40 to $45. You could try some really interesting plum wines, soju, whiskeys, and it's so clean and the distilling is so fresh that you just shoot it straight. And it's great to like digestion. I am a huge soju fan. I think like it's honestly underrated in the US market because it's so tasty, it's so nice, but yet it still has a punch. But they also have a great mixed cocktail menu. I went with two friends who are bartenders and very much recommended the cocktail, so it's going to be good.
I was going to say, I mean, it's like going to a restaurant with a chef.
Yes,
I mean,
exactly.
he's going to hate everything or either
or
like
gonna
something.
love it.
Exactly.
And when they like it, it's
good. Now, Megan, downtown Jersey City, we're Ono?
This is by the Ondo.
Ondo.
Yeah, Ondo. It's by the waterfront.
Ondo. So,
Yes.
I'm sorry. It's by where?
By the waterfront.
By the waterfront.
Yeah.
So, it's like there's so many restaurants there.
There's so many.
That's popping up.
Yes.
What keeps Ondo different than the other restaurants that are there?
I mean, honestly, I think some of the best food in Jersey City, bar none. Great service.
That's important.
And I think the price point is also fantastic for what you're getting. I think it's a very fair and affordable price point. I think for four of us, including drinks, it was about $200.
That's $50
and we
a person.
Ordered everything that we wanted.
That is
so about
cheap.
6 to 7 dishes. So
I mean, you can go to some places where that's per person charge is
oh
$200.
God, yes, absolutely.
Easily.
I'm going tomorrow to La Coucou, so I think that's like $500
Oh
per
my,
person.
wow, listen, that's why I didn't know about it
It's an
because I had
anniversary.
no idea.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Special
Where's Coucou?
occasion.
Is that the city or?
It's in the city.
That's what I
Yeah.
thought.
Yeah,
That's
French.
what I thought. So, you said it's the same owners as Domo Domo?
Yes, same owners as Domo Domo.
Do you believe that they bring a lot of the same dishes to Ondo?
No, totally
completely
different. Yes,
Okay.
very much traditional Korean dishes along with these contemporary ideologies and a very different menu. However, I think some of the best things at Domo Domo is not inherently the sushi. It's the small dishes and their lunch
Interesting.
specials. So it's more of that feel compared to like the sushi omakase feel. Whereas
love that.
Ondo is very much a family style. You want to go with a bunch of people so you can order a bunch of things on the menu,
Right.
try a little bit of everything, and just have like a wonderful time. And I think it's a little bit more price.
Okay.
I feel like Domo Domo is a little bit of a higher price point compared to, which makes sense because fish is, more expensive.
Of course.
You
yeah.
know.
Well, folks, Ondo, located at 3 2nd Street in Jersey City, New Jersey. Megan Ixim of at Miss Giggles. Great to see you.
So nice seeing you. Thank you so much for having me.
Of course, and we look forward to having you on again.
I can't wait.
All righty. Folks, we will be right back.
Welcome to Hudson River Care and Counseling. Hello, I'm Dr. Pam Pater-Ennis, the CEO and founder of Hudson River Care and Counseling with over 30 years of clinical social work experience and therapy. We are a progressive counseling and coaching practice with a diverse team that brings a holistic approach to clients. We offer support both in person and through digital platforms such as telehealth. Consider us a safe haven that you can trust with care for your mental health needs. Visit our website to set up a consultation today.
Peter Biancamano, your hostess with the mostest of the Pulse with Peter B. Folks, don't forget to go on our Facebook and our Instagram pages by searching The Pulse with Peter B. and like and follow us on each of those platforms. We're constantly updating those pages with previews of each week's segments and cool stories. Also, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to our email address at thepulsewithpeterb@gmail.com.
Welcome back to the Pulse with Peter B. But I am better than that bum Peter Biancamano, and I'm Josh Sotomayor Einstein. I'm so happy to be hosting this segment with Chairman of the NJGOP, that's New Jersey Republican Party, Bob Hugin. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Hey, Josh, great to be with you guys.
So you've been chair for a year, and everybody there in TV land, you watched our show for a while, and on the internets, you know that I'm a conservative Republican. So it's no shock that our guest, our wonderful guest, is here today. But you've been chair for a little bit, close to a year, if I'm not mistaken. So what are your greatest accomplishments so far?
Well, I'll tell you, it's been an unbelievable year. 134 victories last November. We didn't win the governorship. It was a close race. We lost that by a little bit, but we picked up 134 seats in one election. So people are tired of the way the state and the direction is going. It's far too taking away rights of people, overreach of government. So we've made great strides, and we're in a great position for more momentum as we go forward here.
Yeah, and everybody out there, you know, and I know that, you know, King Phil Murphy just keeps on taking away our rights, taking away our economic future in New Jersey. So where do you want the state GOP to go? What direction? How do we keep on building on those wins for common sense?
Well, you know, first of all, I want to say it's great to be here. You know, I grew up in Union City. I was born in Jersey City. And I'll tell you, Hoboken is a very different place today than it was a few years ago when I grew up here in the 60s and the early 70s. It's an incredible improvement here. But I think where we want the NJGOP to go is to be a place to provide support for all Republicans. We have not had the infrastructure and support. I have my own personal views, but the party needs to be there to affiliate with people, provide the sustained relationship with new people, new constituents. So the party's role is to build the party, win elections, and 134 wins last year. We're poised to take over control of 2 more counties this year. And in 23, we're going for majority in the state Senate and the Assembly. So we're in a great momentum and a great position.
Oh, that sounds absolutely amazing. I think it would be a negative if I didn't ask about the coming midterm elections. What are your thoughts on that? Everyone's talking about a red wave sweeping the country because sleepy Joe Biden and the Democrats are leading us into despair. So what are your thoughts on New Jersey's congressional delegation?
Yeah, I mean, the gerrymandering was very bad in the congressional redistricting. Fortunately, on the legislative redistricting, it was a lot fairer. But despite that, the polls are incredible. People are sick and tired of being told by the government they got to do this, got to do that. And the fact that the economic situation in New Jersey here is even worse than it was, and it's going to be very difficult the next few years in New Jersey. So people are looking for people of common sense, reasonable solutions. So we're very optimistic of what's going to happen this November. It's a long way off, but we can't take anything for granted. Let's remember that Jack Ciattarelli lost by a small amount, and 750,000 Republicans didn't vote. If 10% of them had voted, we would have had a Republican governor this year. And so if people get out to vote and vote for change, Republicans are going to do great in November.
I mean, listen, you know that I was friends with Jack, still am friends with Jack, and him and I, probably like me and you, have our political differences. But when we're on the red team, we got to focus on what we agree on, not on what we disagree on. Because as Ronald Reagan used to say, someone that agrees with you 80% of the time is a friend, not a 20% traitor.
Yeah, and exactly. And I always think Ed Koch said, if you agree with me 7 or 8%, 8 out of 10 times, that's great. If you agree with me 10 out of 10 times, you're crazy. And we have differences. We're a big tent, and I think, you think about Hoboken and other places, there are people here who are working hard, don't want the government to push them down. They believe in the opportunity for everybody to build their own career. I grew up in Hudson County. I went to public school here. I fought my way. A lot of people helped me. I'm proud of what I achieved in my life, but it's because that's the American way, and they want to take it away and replace government with American individual spirit and and opportunity. So we're not going to let that happen. We're going to make sure America redeems itself and regains its footing and be the place for progress and opportunity for everybody, no matter where you come from, pro-immigrant, pro-opportunity for people.
I hear what you're saying. And I think it's so important that we appeal to, the moderate, barely Democrats, like some people in my family, I love you, who are out there and, who are really upset with the way the country is going and the way New Jersey is going. But how do we balance that with, making sure, because I'm a big grassroots guy. I've gone to grassroots conferences. There was one in down in New Egypt, 1.5 to 2 years ago that I went to. It was fantastic. How do we bring in the grassroots and bring in the voter that doesn't like the Democrats but isn't quite in love with us yet?
Yeah, no, I think it's a tough question, but you think about the Democratic Party. They have the nutcase progressives that want to turn this country into a socialist Venezuela, Cuba, Russia kind of place. And then you got reasonable Democrats, and they have a tough time. How do they fit together? So we have a little bit of the same issue, but I think when you think about the things that unite us Republicans, smaller government, opportunity, freedom, liberty, proud of America, proud of our country, want everybody to have opportunity, justice for everybody, not have the government pick winners and losers. We have so many things that unite us. I think that helps us. But we have to recognize in certain parts of the state, certain part of the country, people are going to have certain views. We let the candidate decide and let the people decide. But I happen to be pro-choice, right? That's not a lot of Republicans are not pro-choice. But we have a big tent, and we want to let candidates run on different issues that we don't completely aligned on. But we agreed on so many things. We agreed on so many more things than Democrats are aligned on. So we got to take advantage of that tailwind now. With Biden and Murphy, the poster children for turning this country into a socialistic, terrible place to live, taking away parental rights in terms of education, destroying their kids, losing years of education. We got to take advantage of those tailwinds and really capitalize and bring everybody in. We're not going to please everybody on every issue, but that's life. That's the way it is. But with so many things bring us together, and we recognize we got in individual communities, we got to respect what those constituents want and need and serve them.
100%. I couldn't agree more. And just for viewers out there in TV land, the Republican Party is such a big tent. The chairman over here said that he's pro-choice. I'm pro-life. We're still friends. It's okay. And we can be in the same party and work to the 80% of the areas that we agree on and respectfully disagree on the 20% that maybe we don't feel see eye to eye.
It's a shame on both parties' side. You think about abortion. Nobody's pro-abortion. And if we could find a place, but the problem is Democrats probably don't want to and shouldn't agree to a term on limiting abortions. They feel that's a slippery slope. And the same thing on gun control. Republicans don't want to agree gun control, where we should have some more reasonable things. And that's a slippery slope for Republicans. So they can't vote to compromise there. But we've got to find solutions for these problems. And we've got to recognize America has been great because the 60% in the middle, 70% in the middle have driven this country to greatness. We can't let 10 or 15% on either side of the political spectrum drive us into a future that isn't the opportunity that we all want.
I think you'd agree, though, that the political extremists that are driving the conversation in our country right now are the woke pajama boy type leftists, not anyone in the GOP.
No, you're absolutely right. If you think about the university, I'm a trustee of Princeton University, very involved with the University of Virginia. It's tough. It's tough when you see these kids being indoctrinated in certain places. And so the woke agenda is so destructive, and it's a small number of people who really are driving it, but they've got such power now within the Democratic Party. You look at the people running the White House. It's not the candidate that ran and was elected. It's their own small identity group of people there that are putting those kinds of issues in a way that are way out of proportion with what Americans really want.
Well, Chairman Hugin, thank you so much for joining us. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Peter Biancamano back with you. Don't forget to watch us on cable access every Sunday and Monday at 9 a.m. Optimum Channel 18, Files Channel 46, and Comcast Channel 190. Also on Sunday mornings at 9:30 a.m., you can watch our show on our YouTube channel, and you can also binge watch all of our old shows. Who doesn't want to keep watching The Pulse with Peter B? We'll see you there. Welcome back to the Pulse with Peter B. Peter Biancamano back in studio. We want to thank New Jersey State Republican Chair Bob Hugin last segment for giving us a little bit of a moderate view on things. Unlike the person who was guest hosting, Josh Sotomayor Einstein, who's a complete radical right-wing nutjob that nobody likes. Bob, thank you for coming. We appreciate it. But we have an extremely special guest here today, and that is not only the 5th Ward Councilman here in Hoboken, but a very, very good friend of mine, and that's Phil Cohen. Phil, how are you today, sir?
I'm great, Peter. It's good to be here with you.
Absolutely. Thank you. So, Phil, the City Council just passed the budget. There is a slight tax increase of a little over 2% for the citizens of Hoboken, but overall, I think if you're a taxpayer in Hoboken, you should be happy with it.
Well, I'm on the Finance Committee, Peter, and the mayor and his administration introduced a budget to the City Council, and it had a 5.6% tax increase. The Budget Committee kicked the tires, worked really hard, worked with Jason Freeman, a new proud father. I don't know if you heard the news.
Congratulations, Jason and Rachel.
Freeman, a baby boy. Congratulations to Jason and Rachel. Rachel, a former guest on
multiple times. Yes,
guests.
Exactly. One of our favorites. Yeah.
So Jason, right up until the time that his wife gave birth, was working really hard with the Budget Committee. We worked really well with Councilman DeFusco, Councilman Ramos. We came up with a package that was only a 2.5% increase. So we found millions of dollars of savings to the taxpayers. When you factor in the county tax cut, it will be a flat tax bill. It's important that we were able to preserve a responsible surplus, which will keep our bond rating strong, which is really important because we do finance a bit of debt in the city, and that saves taxpayers money. We negotiated new contracts with the police and firefighters. That's fully funded. Vision Zero protections for safety and traffic. There's funding for replacing many antiquated pipes in the city and infrastructure investments. A lot of things that are really important to the citizens of Hoboken still in there. Plus, we got funding for engineering studies for Court Street renovation and the multi-service center, which is important to people. And so I think when people get their tax bill and they see that it's flat, given the incredible inflationary pressures that I'm sure Joshua Sotomayor Einstein likes to talk about.
Nobody listens to him. He's on the radical right, Phil.
Interest rates are going up. Things are more expensive. So for us to be able to issue a flat tax bill, and again, thanks to Hudson County for doing its part. There have been many years where Hudson County has not been helpful to Hoboken when it comes to the tax bill. And this year, thankfully, they were. So I think people will be happy to get a flat tax bill.
So, and that just goes to show you, I should say, when people work together. And something that the council is divided on right now is what to do over at Poggi, the former Poggi Press location. Of course, the city of Hoboken wants to turn that into a new municipal complex with a municipal garage, a new police headquarters, so on and so forth, different departments and so on and so forth. There's some confusion with me here, and I was wondering if you can clear this up with the audience. The city council had an ordinance before them, which passed 5-4, but it needed a 6 vote for a $44 million bond for the to eminent domain the property in order for us to put our municipal garage. I can never say that word, Phil, at that location. However, the cost of the project is $192 million. So I guess my first question is, why the $44 million bond at first?
Well, the city put together a package with respect to acquisition and planning and development. That was the initial proposal. The city council voted 5-4 to acquire the Poggi site by eminent domain. That was done by the council. But you're right, the council balked when it came to funding it through the bond. So what happened at our last council meeting is that the city council said, well, maybe there's an alternative way of funding this, and that would be going to see if we can borrow from Hudson County. There's a Hudson County Improvement Authority.
Right, exactly.
And that was approved. So the bond issue is kind of dead right now because we didn't have the 6 votes. But we're very much having active discussions, and I think we want to see what the numbers look like and what the impact is going to be. And then the council will decide if that's the way we want to fund it, because the bond, as you said, did not have the support of 6 votes.
But again, going back, it's $44 million, but but the municipal complex is going to cost $192 million. But obviously, the city offered Poggi Press $19.2 million for their property, and a lawyer came out up in arms this week saying that's not enough money. They did offer us $26 million. Was the $44 million just almost a starting point that we needed, and we were going to go bond again for the rest for the 150 million that we need.
So let me just say, I didn't have a seat at the table at the POGI negotiations.
Okay.
City council does not negotiate with landowners. So
Right, absolutely
I mean,
not.
So
It's
what,
through your attorneys.
So
Right,
what you're
correct.
saying there, I certainly am not in a position to confirm or deny any offers that have been made to Mr. POGI, although I know that the city is negotiating in good faith.
Okay.
Listen, Peter, here's the deal. Arthur Imperator did not want to sell his Union Dry Dock site
Right.
to the city of Hoboken. And we had to threaten eminent domain in order to come to a fair price
I see.
and come to a negotiation. This is a negotiation. And the only party who can negotiate as sitting at the table is not me, the council, or any other council member. It is the development authority of the city, which is the mayor's office. So the same way that we were successful in getting our Northwest Park with the Henkel site, the Academy bus site in the Southwest Park, we've effectively used the threat of eminent domain
Understood.
in order to get to a fair and reasonable price. So when you're throwing numbers around, it's a range. And I don't think anyone's saying precisely what it's going to be, but I think what people do and should pay attention to, I know the council will, is when the financing numbers come back from Hudson County, what does it look like? How is it going to get paid, and what's the impact? The same reason we're proud of having a flat tax bill going out to taxpayers, we're not going to want to saddle taxpayers with a big bill going forward.
Okay, fair enough. So we could say that the $44 million fails bond was the start of a negotiation tool, let's just say. Okay, Phil, I have to bring this up, and I hate to bring this up because, personally, and I'm not supposed to give personal opinions on here, but who cares? It's my show. I believe this is a distraction. Let's talk about the recall petition that 3 of your constituents filed against you, or, petitioned against you, I should say. What was your initial reaction to the recall petition?
Well, it's interesting, Peter. I mean, I don't think people realize this. Maybe even the people who filed it didn't realize this. But what they're asking the voters of the Fifth Ward to do is to sign a petition that will require 2 elections in 2023. The regular election is in November, right. And then this one would be 9 months before. So the Fifth Ward would have to vote twice. And what's even more, we talk about numbers, we talk about finances. Our city clerk has estimated that it'll cost $50,000, at least $50,000, to have this second election. So my reaction is that if someone is approached with this petition, I would ask them respectfully not to sign it, because I think it's a waste of time and I think it's a waste of money.
Yeah, and Phil, one of the things they mentioned, the reason why they wanted to go forward with this petition was basically that you weren't representing their needs. You were representing special interests, but then they didn't say what those special interests were. I thought the petition was quite vague. But, Phil, you don't represent me. I live in the second ward, although, I feel like he always represents the whole city of Hoboken. But my parents' business is in the Fifth Ward. You're on location. I mean, I know my parents have come to you for several different questions. I've come to you for several different questions. And you've been representative of our needs. So, leading up to that and kind of contradicting this whole recall petition, what do you feel is your biggest accomplishments thus far in your 2+ years as councilman?
Well, let me just say one other thing about that, Peter. Mm-hmm. I mean, you remember well that when we had the election in 2019, there was a Fifth Ward debate. And
yes,
the host with Peter.
That was hosted by Peter B.
And we went for 90 minutes, and we debated the issues.
Yeah.
And we were 2 serious candidates that were running against me.
Yeah.
I'd never run for office in the council before. I was a first-time candidate, and we talked about the issues, and we went through it, and the people elected me. And I think that what these folks are suggesting in the recall petition is that they like to see another representative. But
that's why there's elections.
That's what the election's for. So what I would say is,
right.
I look forward to it next year, having that debate, talking about the issues, and engaging with the voters of the Fifth Ward.
Right.
So, as far as my accomplishments have been concerned, nobody saw COVID coming.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't expect it. Nobody did. But I'm really proud of the way that we responded to COVID in Hoboken. With whether it was masks, vaccinations, communicating with the neighborhood, communicating with your family, communicating with all the families about their fears and how to manage COVID. I'm really proud of that. And part of that is communications.
Right.
So I have created a newsletter, which I send out twice a month. I have an email, hobokenphil@gmail. I know sometimes you put little scrolls at the bottom. hobokenphil@gmail. If you have a question, bring it. I respond to the emails. I'm proud of the responsiveness that I've brought, the engagement that I've brought to the job. I love being a councilman. It's the honor of my life to serve the people of Hoboken, and I think the people of Hoboken recognize that I'm committed to the job.
Right.
So I'm really proud of that, and I'm also proud of the fact that we brought back the Office of Constituent Services.
Yeah.
Our friend Nora Martinez de Benedetto,
Right.
born and raised Hobokenite, like you, Peter,
That's right.
is manning the office, helping people every single week. And that was an office that was brought back with this administration. The council fought for it, I fought for it, and I think it's made a real difference in our community.
Let's really quick, because we're actually way over time here, Phil, talk about your future a little. Will this recall petition deter you from anything you want to accomplish in the future, including seeking re-election?
Peter, there's some things in life you cannot control. And what other people do, you can't really control. I know that I love representing the people of the Fifth Ward. I'm going to keep doing the work. I'm going to keep trying to serve the community, help people when I can. And I look forward to continuing that in the future.
All right. Well, Phil Cohen, our Fifth Ward councilman, I believe this is his second or third time on the show, including the debates. And we thank you so much for your time. We really do. We know you're very, very busy. So thanks again.
Thank you.
All right, folks. Join us next week for The Pulse on everything you need to know. I'm Peter Biancamano. I hope you have a great week, everybody.